Hey everybody. Welcome to 20 by 2. I am Andrew Huff, your host. How many of you have never been to 20 by 2 before? That's a good number. All right. So here's how it works, and this is a refresher for those of you who have been before. 20 speakers have been handpicked for their creativity and interestingness, and they've been given a question. That question they can answer in any way they'd like, but they only have 2 minutes each to do it. The question is always chosen to garner a broad range of responses. And this time, the question is, what the fuck? Or, what the fuck? Or, what the fuck? However they might want to interpret it. However, I could not, after the last couple of months, come up with a different question. It was the only one we could do. We'll see how they react to that. We'll see. So, 20 by 2 is a very fast-paced show, and if you don't like one speaker's answer, don't worry, it'll be over very quickly, 22 minutes or less. Regardless, don't forget to clap when they go off, whether it's in positive feedback or negative. We'll also have an opportunity for you, yes, you, to participate. You, yes, you. And we'll get to that at the intermission. I'll explain all about it. And there may be a possibility of winning a prize or two. So stay tuned. One last thing, you can find us on the web at 20x2.org/Chicago. There is also a show down in Austin, which is where this show started. It's been going for 17 years. We've been going since 2013. 20x2.org/Chicago, and on Twitter at 20x2shy. And we'll be using the hashtag 20x2shy for this show. That's CHI, not SHY. Now, on to the first speaker. Felix Jung is a web developer and runs avoision.com, a personal blog that he's updated daily since 2002. His online projects have been featured on sites such as Product Hunt, Boing Boing, Metafilter, and elsewhere. His latest project is spitshake.com, a site that generates legal-looking contracts for idiotic wagers between friends. Felix, come on up and get us started. What the fuck?
Some people upload videos to YouTube and they just hit save. As a result, there's a ton of these generic files with these titles, the generic file names, but there's no description, no information, no context. As I'm watching some of these videos, I'm thinking, what preceded this particular moment when they started recording? And what the fuck am I even looking at? Let's take a look at some examples. The first is a video I've come to call Sex Legs. Impending robot death. Meat tub. The full video goes on for 3 minutes. Congratulations on your fire. I, for one, welcome our new avian overlords. I love this because I don't know what is going on here. Favorite part is at the end. At the very top, you'll notice there's a framed photograph of a different bird. For the last video, I came up with a bunch of different titles. BFF goals, it's turtles all the way down, I've got your back, and I decided to call it what it is, the best goddamn video on the internet. नफरत की दुनिया को छोड़ के प्यार की दुनिया में खुश रहना नफरत की दुनिया को छोड़. Thank you.
Jones. After 15 years in Chicago, Leah Jones is finally willing to admit that she's here to stay. She is a former stand-up comic, longtime blogger, and is starting to threaten her boss that she is going to start a podcast about healthcare policy. She lives in Ravenswood with her 2 cats and insists there is always room for more pie. Leah, we've got a fever, and the only cure is what the fuck.
April 15th was a beautiful day. If you're like my friends, you were at the tax day protest demanding that our current president release his tax returns. Woo-hoo! I couldn't protest that day because I was busy starting menopause with a drug called Lupron. I was shutting down my estrogen to try and shrink fibroids that had grown to the size of 2.5 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream before being properly diagnosed. Also the size of a 4.5-month pregnancy. Fibroids are growths that are in, on, or around your uterus. They feed on estrogen, and like gremlins, should not be fed after midnight. Some people have fibroids and never have a problem, which is super awesome for them. My first symptom was that I started to wake up in the middle of the night to go pee. But I was 38 and I figured it was a symptom of being 38. My second symptom was weight gain. But if you're already fat, doctors don't care to find out why you're gaining weight. I was in grad school. I figured it was a symptom of being in grad school. My third symptom was that my period started to change like holy fucking shit. Suddenly, there were days when I could barely get through my commute without bleeding through a Great Wall of Kotex. I was 39 and starting to worry. Then my legs started to go numb. My rheumatologist ordered an MRI of my spine. He delivered the news that my spine was in great shape, but you have fibroids. You totally already knew that. I did not already know that. So I finally got to see my gynecologist. She ordered an ultrasound, which confirmed the fibroids were large. Then she ordered an MRI, which confirmed the fibroids were really very large, but they weren't cancer. So my unsolicited medical advice for you tonight is this. You know your body, and you know when something is off. Don't be afraid to tell your doctor, to tell all of your doctors, if your period has gone wonky, if your bladder is acting up, or if something is just wrong. Get your doctor to answer, what the fibroid?
All right. Alison Headley is a web designer, crafter, and amateur trapeze artist in St. Louis. She really wanted to do a live trapeze performance for you tonight. But when she asked Schubas if they had any place she could rig a trapeze, someplace that could withstand 1,000 pounds of force exerted from a trapeze drop, they got all up in her face about safety and lawyers, and told her they'd be damned if she broke her neck and died in their fine establishment. So she made this presentation for you. Here's Alison with her answer to the question, what the fuck?
Hi, I'm Alison. In my spare time, I do trapeze. This is a picture of me on the trapeze. My original idea for this project was to show you a lot of videos of myself falling off the trapeze. Trying to do new tricks and failing at them. Really struggling. I mean, what the fuck, right? When I looked through my old photos and videos, I was distracted by one thought. I think I look fat. 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 For most of my life, I never thought of my body as something that served any kind of purpose besides holding my head up off the ground at roughly the same height as other people's heads. I used to think, what the hell good is this useless meat sack down here? My body doesn't help me think or read or talk to people. I have to feed and clothe it constantly. I'm always worrying that it's not attractive enough to other people. How great would it be if it just didn't exist? But then in 2013, I tried the trapeze. It was weird and difficult. So difficult and very demoralizing. It gave me bruises on my feet and back and everywhere else. It made me cry sometimes. But eventually some tricks that I had a hard time with got better. Yeah, there she goes. And now I think of them as my easy tricks. Look, I can do this one while someone else spins around on the rope above me. Wow. I no longer wish I didn't have a body. But I look at these photos and videos of myself trying a really hard thing, persisting, struggling, getting stronger every week for years, and I think, I look fat? What the fuck? Look at me.
You're awesome.
Look at all this fun shit I'm doing.
The dinosaurs.
Look how strong I am. And all I notice about myself is what? How I might appear to other people? How much space I'm taking up in the world? My suitability is a fuck object? Fuck that! I'm built like a brick shit house, and so what? I can climb anything you want, I can lift my whole body with just my arms, and I could probably take lots of you in an arm wrestling competition. Plus I look fucking cool!
Fuck yeah, you do. All right. So now, those of you who have not been to this before now have a bit of a idea of the range, right? Getting there? Who knows what the fuck's gonna happen? Evan F. Moore writes about the intersection of sports, race, violence, and culture. His bylines can be found at Rolling Stone, The Athletic, The Shadow League, and DNA Info, among others. He is also a syndicated columnist for Gatehouse Media and an adjunct professor at DePaul University. Evan, what's your take on what the fuck? Come on up.
I know some of you follow me on Twitter or anywhere else, but I'm going to read some of the comments I get from people. They're going to be either Twitter DMs, Facebook inboxes, emails, stuff like that. A lot of stuff we shouldn't look at, but we do anyway. You can laugh. It's okay to laugh at some of the stuff I'm going to say, because I laugh too. Let's see. Let's have an uncomfortable conversation about how black you are. The flip side of the argument. Black fully accept black culture and crime and black culture of crime and drugs. Yeah, that's fucked up. Yeah. Mr. Moore. More hate than good on your timeline. When was the last time you reported a good police story or retweeted one? Again, Evan Moore. You could be a good writer if you stop the whole racist issues all the time. You aren't the story. Tell it.
Oh, man.
This is a great one right here. I'm glad you wrote this. You are a virtual fountain of misinformation. He misspelled miss. Now people can see you as you are a racist white hater. Yeah, I know, what the fuck, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, this is one more. Gee whiz, Mr. Moore, you would think that somebody who had grown up on Chicago's South Side would be a bit of objectivity before composing such an amateurish article. It's loaded with buzzwords and innuendos, but devoid of facts. Love how you had to give the nudge to law enforcement, but it will not fit your agenda without splashing some mud on the police community. Yeah. It's one of my favorites about, wrote a story about the Washington Redskins and some of the names of some of the Native American sports teams. You need to understand that Native Americans should be happy that they are represented by 2 NFL teams, 2 MLB teams, and 1 NHL team. Be proud. It's not racism, it's history. And our franchise would be better, would be completely ruined if we changed the name.
Really?
Yeah. Here's one of my personal favorites. When black people start caring about black lives. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, basically, I'm done. Oh, I saw the thing. I was like, damn, you're trying to cut me off. Okay. Yeah, so there's some other stuff in there that I didn't want to bring up in there. I mean, I wrote something about Patrick King last year, and one person emailed me and told me I should end up like Mike Brown. And I responded back and I said, so you're gonna fight for someone that you don't even know just because he's really, really good at hockey. That's what you're gonna go with, right? Well, I haven't heard back, and also because the stuff I talk about, I often get challenged to fights. Look at me and think someone's really gonna challenge me, but people do it. I send addresses, but sometimes I don't send my actual address. I actually send the ones for the police station. I have no intention of showing up after. I have better stuff to do. Other than that, what the fuck?
Alright. Fucking D. What's wrong with people? When people ask Sam Rosen what he does for a living, he says he is a designer, which is sort of a bullshit answer because he doesn't really design anything anymore. So if you dig further, he'll tell you he makes websites, but he doesn't really do that anymore either. So what does Sam do? Well, he runs one design company, a little digital branding studio that he started 12 years ago. He is a brother in the ragtag Chicago art collective The Post Family, and he opened the first co-working space in Chicago called The Coop, R.I.P. And most importantly, or most recently anyway, he spends most of his time on a little business he calls Desk Pass that helps you get into other co-working spaces. But within the last 18 months, Sam has gotten married, moved to the suburbs, and had a baby. So mostly he's just tired. Surely, with all that on his plate, he must also have an answer to the question, what the fuck? Sam?
This is my dumb friend Zach. I met him through this idiot named Brian. Brian's drinking a margarita, just in case you're wondering. I was hanging out with Zach, and Zach goes, "Hey Sam, I have a dumb idea. I want to go on this thing called the Chop Top Challenge and drive to Vegas, blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Dude, you had me a dumb idea." I didn't know much about the Chop Top Challenge. I knew it involved buying a car and then chopping off the top. As you can see, you could saw the top. You can use a hammer and just rip off the top. It's really up to you. But we're not that hardcore, so we just bought last year's Chop Top winner. Don't worry, it came with your standard stripper pole. And we took this matter very seriously. Last year's winners tattooed this vehicle on their skin. So we gave it a classic tape job, and Friday morning we were out, and we were at the checkpoint to begin our adventure. So the way the Chop Top Challenge is, you got the scorecard. You get points. It's not a race. You have to get to Vegas to the Bellagio parking lot by 2 p.m. on Monday. But you can take any way you choose, and you get points based on what you do. This is what the Chop Top looks like. It's loud, it's cold, it's wet, it's dangerous. People stare at you and go, "Idiot." And you get points for doing certain things. You get points for like going to certain bars and restaurants, like this one. Going to the Walmart Museum, which was oddly very inspiring. You get points if you pick up a hitchhiker. You get points if you get children to sit in the driver's seat, which became pretty creepy. You get points for going to frat parties. This was in Springfield, Missouri. You get points for gambling, not in Las Vegas. You get points for going to Taco Bell, and the more you go, whoever goes the most, they get extra points. So, and lots of other things you get points for. So you might be asking, Sam, what's the moral? I don't get it. What's the point? And I have some lessons for you. One is, after going to Taco Bell 14 times in 3 days, just a simple corn on the cob is probably the best thing you've ever had. don't try to go around a storm. We learned that from this guy, who's a professional tornado chaser at about 1 a.m. in Dallas, who basically said, if you don't go as fast as you can the other way for the next 30 minutes, there's a good shot you'll die. We learned that it's illegal to not drive with a windshield in the state of Arizona. But most importantly, we learned a very valuable lesson, which is sometimes it's nice to do dumb shit. And we were pretty good at dumb shit. Second place.
Lord. All right. Fuck, dude. I love the fact that there were, like, how many racers were in this thing?
11.
11. So 11 idiots cut the top off their cars. Eden Robbins writes short fiction, long fiction, short essays, and jokey video scripts for the health insurance industry. She spends too much money on plane tickets and not enough on clothes. This is her very first PowerPoint. Your very first PowerPoint? Eden, what the fuck?
Embark on a rejuvenating spa journey that will awaken your senses. Unwind in our steam room. Be transformed at our salon. Meet your fitness goals in our exercise facilities. Indulge in an extended escape to the Spicer Holocaust Center. This ancient healing art uses heavy rocks that you'll move from one place to another for no reason at all. During their journey, the rocks will absorb your energy until you collapse. Treatment utilizes lead bullets to polish away dead skin cells and organ tissue, followed by your own blood to hydrate, detoxify, and stiffen the body. Oxygen-infused wind and sunlight applied to your exposed skin in all weather, with all the dangers of traditional tanning, plus the pain of windburn. The Spicer Holocaust Center welcomes younger guests to indulge in an educational steam room experience with patented chemical peel designed for kids ages 0 to 12, accompanied by a genetically useless adult. We specialize in short stays at the Spicer Holocaust Center, so reservations are not needed. Our knowledgeable spa commando are delighted to guide you to the spa experience that best suits our needs. Children under 12 will indulge in the Spa Junior Steam Room. Other specialized spa services are available for physically fit and or medically interesting and or twin guests aged 12 to 18. Upon arrival, you'll be outfitted with our custom spa uniform and provided a complimentary haircut. We accept gold teeth, family heirlooms, priceless works of art, and Trump collection gift cards. Nope. The Spicer Holocaust Center, we don't use chemical weapons, we use chemical peels.
Feel cleansed. Sorry. Is that too much?
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Kenzo Shibata is a teacher, activist, organizer, writer, and media specialist who lives in Lincoln Square. His work sends him across the state, helping unions and people who want to join unions use media to tell their stories and win campaigns. He is a co-founder of the Illinois chapter of the Illinois Pacific American Labor Alliance and serves as its secretary. He is also co-founder of the Caucus of Rank-and-File Educators and served as its communications director from 2008 to 2010. His writing can be seen on Gaper's Block, may it rest in power, The Nation, Jacobin, Salon, In These Times, Huffington Post, and many more. Kenzo also is a powerlifter who recently won first place in the 100 kg Raw Classic division of the APF Raw Power meet, competing in bench press, squat, and deadlift. Okay, Kenzo, what the fuck? Come on up.
So how many people were at the climate march? Woo! How many people were at the women's march? How many people get mad online? Awesome. Awesome. Being mad online. So how many of you have like posted something about these marches and rallies that you've been to and were responded with a WTF maybe from an uncle or from a friend from high school who just didn't quite get it? Seems like a pretty common thing. So that's the WTF that I'm answering right now. I work for a teachers union, so I'm not actually gonna say the acronym out. But so people want to know, like, why are we protesting? And the analogy I like to use is the work that I do, which is I help unions negotiate contracts. And when negotiating a contract, the most important thing for the workers is to build power at the negotiating table. And management's goal is to screw them over, basically. No, but actually just to like contribute as little resources, as few resources as possible. And the workers want a contract that allows them to use their own experience and creativity in the work that they do and not eat cat food after retirement. So to get there, you need leverage over management. You need power. Politics is power. Having logic or morality on your side is just not going to cut it. It's not going to get you what you need. Winning a debate isn't going to do it for you. Sorry. So one common tactic that we use in the labor movement is a contract rally, and this is when we amass a show of force while a contract is being negotiated long before a strike. This is very different from a strike. This precludes a strike, and it begins with the people who are at the table negotiating the contract. This would be the teachers in the teachers' cases, or the workers, the leadership that they elect. But at the same time, like if this rally just included the people who are going to benefit from the contract, it's really easy to say, well, they're just being greedy. They don't really care about the products that they put out there or the services they provide. So you really need to show like all of the people who are going to be affected, not the people who are just going to be affected directly. So you want to have parents in the case of like a teachers union strike, or consumers in the case of a private sector strike. The people that are going to really affect the bottom line of management. In the case of like a public sector union, mayor can be voted out. And people can boycott private sector unions as well. So you want to have this giant show of force of all these people in the community involved. And what we're doing in these marches against Trump is we're showing that there's not just one small group of angry leftists who are shaking their fists at him. His policies are affecting everybody, so everyone needs to come out. And that is why the power of the protest is in its diversity, and we need to have as many people there as possible to show this force, the fact that he can be voted out, that people who support him can be voted out, products that he supports we can stop buying, and ultimately we have the power. And that's why we're out there protesting.
Odette Yousef is a radio reporter for WBEZ and a Chicago resident of 7 years. She is pretty good at telling other people's stories, sniffing out pastry shops, and finding your spelling errors. She's reasonably good at origami and playing the harp. She is terrible at keeping plants alive. And now she has 2 minutes to answer, what the fuck?
So who listens to public radio here? Alright, so if you had to describe NPR, you might use the word substantive, maybe the word serious. But the highlights of my days are when I get pitches for products from people who have no idea about that. Pitches such as this one.
Hit the button. Hit the button. Right there. The button is going. Hang on. Just a moment. What the fuck? Oh, wait.
Would you like a sample for a possible feature? Odette.
Yeah.
Imagine a
Nope, not that.
Hey Odette, are you working on any New Year's Eve beauty or fashion stories, or perhaps any upcoming beauty stories in 2014? My client, Bosom Couture, has created a product that helps give women gorgeous cleavage without the need for surgery. It's called Boob Glue. Would you like a sample for a possible feature?
Which obviously I did get the sample, and you all heard my NPR story about boob glue, which also was pitched to like all of my male colleagues, amazingly. And so I just love the sort of brashness of these innovators who are like eager to get their product in front of like everybody. And so because of this email, I actually created a subfolder in my inbox called American Ingenuity / What the fuck. I just wanted to bring to you one more very recent addition to that.
Odette. Imagine a world in which any negative or limiting beliefs could be resolved permanently. Resolved with a method that is reproducible. Reproducible from written steps that could be followed. And since the steps are written down, that means people could reproduce it at will. It looks like that formula has finally been developed. I named it GooTap. Odette.
What the fuck? Just wanted to thank my public radio colleagues Greta Johnson and Peter Sagal for voicing that. Thank you.
My day job now is PR, so I'm remembering this. Thank you for that advice. All right, number 9. Kim Bellware is a reporter for the Huffington Post who covers crime, politics, and breaking news with a special emphasis on the death penalty. You've probably heard her on WBAZ, maybe at the Paper Machete, Funny Haha, The First Time, and a few East Coast stations she admittedly can't remember the names of. She was on a Fox News affiliate once, and it was a disaster, as you can probably imagine. In a past life, she wrote about Chicago metro issues, music, and lifestyle. She's confident her mother keeps a running tally of all the times Kim has said fuck. It's often. And here she is to add a few more to the list. Thanks.
I love a good medical mystery, except when it involves my grandma. My favorite person in this whole world is my 94-year-old grandma, whose best friend, incidentally, is, other than me, our family's 15-year-old incontinent and nearly blind Yorkshire Terrier. Grandma's mind is so good. She remembers stories better than people half her age, but her body is a wobbly disaster. For more than 10 years, she's had nearly zero cartilage in her joints and is racked with rheumatoid arthritis. You can actually hear her bones grind together when she moves. What the fuck? And consequently, she tells me that all the time she wishes she were dead. Can you imagine living each of the past 4,380 days wishing you were dead? I repeat, what the fuck?
I'm beginning to, go downhill. I could see that.
And science seems like it has gotten better at solving the hard problems, but not the easy ones. You can grow an ear in a petri dish, but you can't help chronic pain. Grandma gets a cortisone shot in her shoulders every 8 weeks, but they only last for 3. What the fuck, medical science? She won't take Vicodin because she's afraid she'll get addicted, which, what the fuck, you're 94. No one, not her doctors, not her therapist, not a specialist, has come up with a good solution other than more opioids. One, what the fuck, and follow-up question, how the fuck are those the only options? So me, her granddaughter, who failed AP chemistry and whose medical expertise is limited to treating flesh wounds with superglue, has stepped in.
I was going to get some of that marijuana oil for you to try to see if it would kind of ease your aches and pains a little bit. It's more natural, so it shouldn't like upset your stomach or make you feel weird or anything like that. So, you want to give it a whirl?
Okay. You don't have to do that, though, sweetheart.
No, it's okay. I just want to see if you like it.
Oh, okay.
I realize that she's approaching 100. What if she ends up loving this? All I'm trying to do is help my grandma. Yet I am reminded that under federal law, my aid is technically still illegal. What the fuck?
How are you guys feeling? You liking this? Living up to your expectations? Alright. We're at number 10. Tanner Woodford is founder, chairman, and executive director of the Chicago Design Museum and a lecturer at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. He has worked as a product interaction and graphic designer and has taught and lectured on design issues, history, and rapid ideation in professional and academic settings. He is irrepressibly, that's not spelled right, irrepressibly optimistic, and believes that design has the capacity to fundamentally improve the human condition. Tanner, you've got 2 minutes to answer the question of the hour. Come on up.
Tonight I'm not going to talk about any of that. So 30 years ago, on November 22nd, 1987, a hacker interrupted Chicago's WTTW broadcast signal. You guys know about this? Yeah. And played the following 2-minute video. It's real, it's unedited, and the perpetrator is still never been found. Enjoy, thank you.
You should look up and the old ones of your tribe. That is the only way to learn.
I'll get you a hot drink.
As I can tell, a massive electric shock you got instantly. The generator? Oh, you're always so careful.
Alright, we're halfway through. Thank you, Tanner. It was a glimpse into my childhood. I'm not the perpetrator, however, I do remember that. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of a break. We're going to do about 10-15 minutes. Good opportunity to go see the bar right back there, talk about the crazy shit you've already seen, and I got a little assignment for you. You see, we had Keidra Chaney in the lineup, and unfortunately she came down with a severe fever today, so she's not able to be here. I'm sorry if you were here for her. She's at home. Please give her great wishes at KDC, the letters, on Twitter. So I want your help to help complete the show. We can't be 19 by 2. So what I want, think about this, I need 10 people to give me 10-second WTFs. We're going to do it right after the break. I'm going to come up, do a little spiel, and then invite you up. So when you see me back up here, line up over here, I'm going to take 10 of you, and everybody is going to get a prize. How about that? All right. So yeah, thanks. We'll be right back.